Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story? Yes, hidden identity. I am a woman, and I hope that my story is going to help other women out there, especially if you are still a young woman. Maybe you are in college, and if you are listening to this confession, you need to learn from my life story. So when I was still in university, I started dating 3 guys. I thought that maybe I was much more wiser. So when I was dating these 3 guys, I was sleeping with them all at the same time. The other guy, I said that this one is my rent boyfriend, the one that used to pay rent for me, and the other one was my grocery boyfriend. He would make sure that I have food at all the times. And then the other guy, he was just my fun boyfriend. When I wanted to go out, when I wanted to have some nice things, buy nice clothes, he was my fun boyfriend. I would go to him. So since I was sleeping with them without using any protection at all, that was when I fell pregnant. And I did not even know who had impregnated me. So I then told them one by one that you have impregnated me. And then all of them, they refused, and they said that the baby, they knew that the baby did not belong to them. And it was quite terrible for me. I stopped going to university. My parents, they even disowned me. And I started working as a maid. And after I had given birth, Brother Nashi, life became so difficult. And now currently I am working as a maid here in Johannesburg. I do come from Zim. So I just want other women to know that these things, they can happen. And what hurts me to this very day is that my child, as I'm speaking with you right now, is 16 years old. And each and every time when my child asks me where the dad is, I really do not know what to tell my child, because 2 of the guys that I was dating that had money, they were illegal gold miners, and I really do not know where they went to. And I never even bothered, because I didn't think that it was that important to look for them. And the other guy, he was also a taxi driver. This guy, he did not even have an ID or a license. He will just drive his taxi. All that mattered to me was that he was able to provide money whenever I wanted money from him. So I lost track of these guys, and I really do not know where they are. It happened when I was still in university. When you post my story, please tell me. I will follow in the comment section. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sister right there. Let us try to talk about that issue in the comment section. Then there is another message as well that was sent to me by our sister. I also had a conversation after she had sent me the message, and the message that she sent to me, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? You asked me, why is it that I agreed to go to a traditional healer with my husband after I had found out that he was a ritualist? Brother Nashi, when you have 3 kids that are all disabled and they need special attention, because my kids, it's not only that they are disabled, sometimes they can just start to have bad sores. So I need to have a nurse at my house almost at all the times. So I made that decision looking at my kids, and I said, okay, if I tell my parents right now and I tell them that my husband is a ritualist, therefore I cannot stay with him anymore, what is going to happen to my kids? Because my husband had told me that it is fine. He was willing to go to church, to throw away everything that he was using in his rituals, in his businesses. He was willing to go and return everything to his traditional healer. But he then said that if we return everything to the traditional healer, then it means that there is going to be poverty that is going to be following us and what is going to happen to our kids because they need special attention. Look at how much money we are paying, because we do get some nurses from this other private clinic and we pay a lot of money, Brother Nashi. So I then calculated and I said that my kids are going to suffer. They have suffered already, but it is far much better for them to have attention whenever they want it, because on most occasions we have 2 nurses at our house, 1 nurse in the morning, then 1 nurse in the evening. Then there are times when we just have the maid looking after our kids. So my house is quite big, so 1 maid cannot do everything. So I have 3 maids. So one of the maid, whilst others are busy doing their duties, then the other maid, they will be busy with the kids. So my children, the problem with them is that they always have bed sores and it is quite terrible. And as for me, I really do not want to be around my kids because I keep on blaming myself, giving birth to 3 of them that were all disabled because of the rituals that my husband did. So I keep on looking at them, and sometimes I can just cry when I think about all the things that my husband has done and the things that I have allowed him to do to this very day. So I hope that I answer you when you asked me why is it I agreed to go to the traditional healer after a prophet had told me that my rich husband, who used to be my blesser, when I met my husband, he was already married. I was struggling in life. I was just working, and my parents, they were really poor. They were looking up to me, and then that was when this man proposed love to me. He told me that he had a wife, and he told me that he was facing some challenges in his marriage with his wife, and he was going through the divorce process, and he was feeling lonely. He just wanted to be with someone else. And then that was when I agreed, and I said it is fine. I was willing to be with him. He explained to me the reason as to why he had been fighting with the wife. He told me that the wife hated all of his relatives and she was a toxic person. They were always fighting and he just wanted some peace in his life. So then he told me that he wanted to start a small business for me. During those years when I met my husband, a lot of people from our country, they would go to Botswana where they would buy clothes, shoes, suits, and they would come back to Harare and sell the clothes. So he gave me money and I went to Botswana with other women. I went and I bought my stock and I returned back to Zim, and life became a little bit better. Even when I told my parents about this man and everything that had happened in his life, my parents were happy that I had found such a man who was willing to take good care of me. After the divorce, that was when I started staying with my husband. When the ex-wife heard that her ex-husband was now staying with another woman, she got mad and then she went to a traditional healer. When I started staying with this man, life was really good. He had his businesses that he had had for many years. But this woman, she went to a traditional healer and she made sure that everything stopped working. I even started blaming myself. I thought that I was the one that had brought the spirit of poverty and I was the one that was causing all of this bad luck that was happening in his life. For the businesses, they were really going down to the ground and he did not even know what to do. So in secret, my husband, he then went to this other man who owned a very big bus company, but that bus company went broke after the man had passed away because he was a ritualist. He did a lot of rituals to keep his buses on the road and to keep them running. So my husband was very good friends with that man, even though he was quite older than my husband. He went there and then that was when he borrowed some money. He wanted to borrow some money so that he can invest that money in the business to keep everything afloat. But then that was when my husband was told by that man that even if he was going to be given more money, but because of the rituals that had been done by his ex-wife, even if he was going to start many businesses, all of them, they were not going to be profitable unless if he went to a traditional healer. That is how it all started. My husband was then taken to a traditional healer. When he arrived at that traditional healer, he said that he was told that the only way that he could get back into business was if only he was going to sacrifice a child. And to sacrifice this child, like they meant like physically, my husband had to get armed robbers that were going to hijack a child, and then they were supposed to slaughter that child because the child was going to be the sacrifice. So then my husband said that he hired some armed robbers. They would move around different locations, and then one day they kidnapped this other girl. She was very young, and they went with the girl to the traditional healer's house. My husband said that they slaughtered this child as if she was a chicken. My husband told me that those armed robbers had done this too many times, so much that they were not even afraid to take another person's life. They said that they had this child pinned to the ground, and my husband was then told that he was the one who was supposed to take that child's life since it was his sacrifice, and he was given a machete knife, and my husband was then told to slash that child's neck, and he did it. He said by the time that he was finished, there was blood everywhere, and the traditional healer started laughing and kept on laughing as if he was possessed by an evil demon. So my husband was then told to wipe the blood, and then they took some body parts, which he said that they went and they buried them at one of his garage. So the body parts that they took from this girl, he said that they took the eyes, the tongue, and as for the intestines, they hijacked this other madman whom they brought to that same traditional healer's shrine. The traditional healer then cooked soft porridge, and my husband had to eat the soft porridge with the intestines that they had taken from that girl that had been cooked. So he shared the same plate with that madman, and when they were eating, my husband said that he was taking the good luck from that madman as they were sharing the same meal, eating with that madman. And that is how my husband started to make money. At that time, I did not even know what was going on. All that I saw was that my husband had been borrowed some money by that big businessman, and life was now okay. But when my parents would go to different prophets, they would be told that your daughter is in danger. And the reason as to why my parents started to go around asking for help from different prophets, because they thought that one amongst our relative, there was one who was bewitching me so that my husband can divorce me. But they did not know that my husband was the reason as to why I kept on giving birth to kids that were born with a disability. And it is not an easy thing, Brother Nash. The first time when I fell pregnant, I was happy. But when Labor Day came, when I went into labor after giving birth, I was told that my baby was not okay, and I had given birth to a baby that had a disability. The second time, it was very traumatizing. The third time, it was even worse. So 3 times I went into labor and I gave birth to kids that had disabilities. And these are not like your minor disabilities. Are like severe disabilities, such that you cannot look at my kids twice without even crying or feeling too bad, because they cannot do anything. It is just that they are living. You can just see that they are human beings, but they cannot even do anything for themselves. So my parents, they were heartbroken. They were like, what is happening to our daughter? Who has been bewitching our daughter? They did not know that their daughter was being bewitched by her own husband, and the money that they were being given, it was blood money. So then that was when I also went to a prophet with one of my sister. When we went there, the prophet said, your husband knows, but I'm going to give you some prayers that you are supposed to use. These holy prayers, you are supposed to use them while you are bathing, and after you would have bathed, speak with your husband. He is going to tell you the truth. So I then waited for my sister who had visited us to return back to her husband, and one day I used those holy prayers, and after finishing bathing, that was when I confronted my husband. My husband then told me everything that had happened when we went broke, when he found out that the wife was bewitching him, and him agreeing to sacrifice that girl that he did not even know. And he told me that the reason as to why I kept on giving birth to kids that had disabilities, it was because each and every time when I was pregnant, the spirit of that girl that they had murdered would visit us, and she would be sitting on my stomach, and the child that I'll be carrying in my womb will be born with a disability. When I heard this, I started crying. That was when I looked at my children and my heart was broken, and I said, it is far much better to be rich, knowing that even though your kids have a disability, the money that you have, you can use it to take care of them. But when you are poor, what am I going to do with these kids that can't even do anything for themselves? It is far much better for me to stay married to this man that is a ritualist. He then took me to the traditional healer, and then that was the day that I also joined my husband in his rituals that he does. So we were then told to buy a small monarch. We then bought a small suitcase that we keep underneath our bed. Inside that suitcase there is a small coffin, so whenever the ghost of this girl, when she comes to our house, when she wants to harm us, then she is trapped by the charm that is inside that coffin. The moment that she enters into our house, she is trapped by that small coffin, and she can be trapped in that coffin for months. And by the time that she will be able to open that small suitcase, it will have taken too much of her energy, so much that she will run away. And when she returns back, it is the same process all over again. The charm that is inside that small coffin will trap her, and she will go into our bedroom and she will go and look in our suitcase. Then the coffin will close itself whilst she is inside, so she will start to struggle for many months until she comes out. So one amongst my children that I had passed away, fell to the ground and broke his skull and passed away. It was quite terrible, but it is better to be married to a man that is a ritualist, and you know that even if your children have a disability, you are able to take care of them. Just imagine if I had 3 kids with disabilities, and then my husband was like really poor. What was I going to do? To go around begging? No, I cannot do that. I suffered all of my life. The poverty that I experienced growing up, it was just too traumatic for me. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sister. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. I also had a conversation with her, and she said that she does not want to return back to poverty. She is going to hold on to the life that she has, and she is living a comfortable life. She does not want to give that up. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Then there is another message that was sent to me by our brother. The message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? When I came to South Africa, this was like a very long time ago, and then I started working. So when I was back home, I used to work in the mine as a boiler maker. I was the senior boiler maker at that mine. So I came here to South Africa like I was highly experienced. And then after that, that was when I returned back home. My wife then said that we were supposed to go to Bindura to pray. I did not want, but my wife kept on telling me that we were supposed to go there and pray. because a lot of people that went there would get spiritual breakthroughs in their lives. So we went there, we prayed, and then that was when I got a breakthrough. I returned back to South Africa. I found a job at a mine. It was a good paying job, and then I eventually started working at Eskom. I was even given a company vehicle that I used to travel with when I would be returning back to Zim. Life was really great, but I really do not know what happened to me. Maybe it was because of the money that I was earning. This was like in 2013 when I used to earn money that was above 29k each and every month. It was quite a lot. So then I started staying in the suburbs, and I started dating expensive slave queens that I met in the suburbs. Most of these girls, their parents were quite wealthy, so giving them girlfriend allowance will take a big portion of your salary. It was just too much. And until I met this other girl that I had a child with, so she ended up cheating on me, and we broke up. And after we had broken up, this girl returned back to me with the police, and she lied to the police that I had raped her. It was quite terrible. She did not want to get me arrested, but those police officers, they would come to my place each and every month and threatening to arrest me unless if I pay them. So they would take all of my salary. They would just give me money to pay rent and to buy food, such that I was even unable to send money back home, yet I was earning a lot of money. Life became so bad, so much that I was unable to pay even my rent. I started sleeping in my car. After work, I would find a place where I could park the vehicle in a safe place, and then I would just sleep. Life was very difficult until we did some deals, and then I got fired. And after I had gotten fired, I struggled. I have struggled since that time until now. I have not yet managed to get a proper job. I really do not know why God has kept punishing me for all of these years. I know what I did was wrong, but why is God punishing me over and over again? I have gone back to that mountain where me and my wife went to pray. But Brother Nashi, no matter how hard I have tried to pray, the situation is not changing. This is what happened to me, Brother Nashi. I spent all of my money on slave queens. Dear listeners, right there was another message that was sent to me by our brother. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. He is asking, why is it no matter how hard he has tried to pray, but things are not working in his life? Let us try to speak with him. Let us meet again in the next episode.